So, as we just heard there, a delegation of high-ranking North Koreans attended the closing ceremony of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics here in South Korea, but their presence was highly controversial. The leader of the delegation, Kim Young-chul, is suspected of having orchestrated 2 deadly attacks on South Korea in the past. Ji Myung-gil with more.
North Korea's 8-member high-level delegation entered South Korea on Sunday for a 3-day trip led by General Kim Young-chul. They attended the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics. Kim is a key official in the North ruling party in charge of handling inter-Korean affairs who stirred controversy with his links to multiple attacks on South Korea. During his time as military intelligence chief, he is accused of masterminding 2 attacks on South Korea. The first being the sinking of the South Korean warship Cheonan in 2010, in which 46 sailors were killed, and the second, the artillery attack on Yeonpyeong Island in 2010, which killed 2 civilians and 2 Marines. His inclusion in the delegation has caused outrage in some quarters. However, Seoul's Unification Ministry said responsibility for the Cheonan incident cannot be definitively laid on Kim, despite the fact that he led the North spy agency at the time. Conservative groups, including lawmakers from the conservative Liberty Korea Party, have held protests on the southern side of the Tongil Bridge in Paju, just south of the border and at the inter-Korean checkpoint. Still, the South Korean government has welcomed his visit amid improving inter-Korean relations and hopes for an Olympics-inspired détente. Meanwhile, the 2 Koreas will hold working-level talks on Tuesday to discuss the North participation in the Pyeongchang 2018 Paralympic Winter Games starting March 9th. The 2 sides will meet at the northern side of the inter-Korean border at Panmunjom, with Seoul sending a 3-member delegation.
Few expected any diplomatic breakthroughs from Ivanka Trump's visit to South Korea as she led the U.S. delegation at the closing ceremonies of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games. And there weren't any. The daughter of U.S. President Donald Trump paid a visit to South Korean President Moon Jae-in Friday at the presidential residence known as the Blue House in Seoul, where she congratulated the president for hosting the Olympic Games and thanked him and the First Lady for their hospitality.
It is a great honor to be here in South Korea with the U.S. delegation. We are very, very excited to attend the 2018 Winter Olympic Games, to cheer for Team USA, and to reaffirm our strong and enduring commitment with the people of the Republic of Korea.
America's first daughter will be leading Washington's delegation for the closing ceremony of the Winter Games. Although the White House said Ivanka Trump is here just to show support for Team USA, many wonder if she brings with her a message from her father to President Moon Jae-in. Hwan Jang-ho has our top story.
Arriving at Incheon International Airport on a commercial Korean Air flight from Washington, the U.S. first daughter made a short statement to the press thanking the South Korean people for their warm welcome.
We are very, very excited to attend the 2018 Winter Olympic Games, to cheer for Team USA, and to reaffirm our strong and enduring commitment with the people of the Republic of Korea.
With that, she made her way to Seoul to get ready for a dinner hosted by President Moon Jae-in at the Blue House. On Saturday, she will head to Pyeongchang, where she's expected to attend several Olympic events over the weekend to watch the US athletes compete. There had been speculation that she would make time to meet with North Korean defectors like Vice President Mike Pence did during his visit for the opening ceremony. White House officials denied such claims, reiterating the main purpose of her visit was to highlight Team USA's achievements as well as show support for South Korea. Officials also denied that there are any plans for the first daughter to meet with the North Korean delegation, which is arriving on Sunday. But the last-minute inclusion to the US delegation of Alison Hooker, a National Security Council official specializing in Korean affairs, has raised speculation that a meeting between representatives from the 2 sides could still occur. Ivanka Trump herself could still run into the North Koreans at the closing ceremony if they find themselves in similar seats to the opening ceremony. Vice President Pence was seated 1 row in front of the North Koreans. He spent most of the time largely ignoring them and also refused to stand when the unified Korean team made their entrance. Focus will be on whether the first daughter will give a similarly frosty response or extend a hand to the regime instead.
Ivanka Trump delivered a personal message to Moon from her father, President Trump, about his announcement on sanctions for North Korea, a set of restrictions he called the largest ever for North Korea, imposing what the White House calls maximum pressure on the reclusive nation and its practice of illegal shipping and trade designed to evade United Nations sanctions targeting its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Seoul's Unification Ministry announced on Friday that North and South Korea would hold joint working-level talks this week in the Panmunjom Joint Security Area that is part of the Inter-Korean Borders Demilitarized Zone. South Korean defense officials have reiterated that joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises, delayed during the Winter Olympics, will resume with an announcement expected before April. After a New Year's Day address by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the two Koreas met at a senior level and competed jointly in the Olympics. Kim's sister, Kim Yo-jong, attended the opening ceremonies and delivered a letter to South Korea's President Moon Jae-in proposing a summit. The North has not tested a ballistic missile since late November or a nuclear device since September. Pyongyang views the joint exercises, conducted annually, as provocative and a prelude to invasion. Grant Newsham, a former Marine officer and senior research fellow at the Japan Forum for Strategic Studies, tells VOA's Victor Beattie they are vital to maintaining the skills to conduct effective operations.
Plus, you have a lot of new troops and new officers who come to participate, and they need to learn how to do it as well. So this sort of routine, ongoing, continuous exercising really is essential, just as it would be for a baseball team. You've got to keep practicing. Plus, there's also, of course, a political, psychological aspect to this in terms of demonstrating commitment on both sides, the United States and South Korea. So there's a very practical, operational reason for doing these. And there's also an important political reason as well.
Are these defensive or offensive in design? North Korea obviously considers them a prelude to invasion.
Of course they will, but these are essentially defensive. This is the U.S. and South Korea are operating on a strategic defensive when it comes to the Korean Peninsula. The best way to look at this is defensive. Of course, everything that the Americans do, everything the South Koreans do, is viewed by North Korea as the prelude to an invasion. But one doesn't need to be privy to inside information to know that nobody on the U.S. side or the South Korean side is really thinking very seriously about invading North Korea. These particular exercises should be viewed as defensive in nature.
Will this end this short-lived rapprochement between the Koreas?
It won't help keep it going. I would expect that North Korea will sort of play rough again and probably cause some trouble. But then again, they have been very successful by holding out these lures, these sort of attractive sort of bait to South Korea. And I would imagine they will continue doing that, maybe mixing it, though, with some saber rattling as well. But certainly the love fest that we've seen at the Olympics, I wouldn't expect that to continue much longer after the closing ceremonies.
The official North Korean KCNA news agency last week denounced the intention to resume the military exercises as a, quote, wild act of ruthlessly trampling even a small sprout of peace.
Exercise Foal Eagle is ready to kick off, but soldiers from the 2nd Striker Brigade combat team couldn't wait to send rounds downrange with their Republic of Korea Army counterparts.
What we're doing here today is we're acclimatizing to the Korean environment and working with the ROK Army in a partnership. Basically, today what we're doing is reacting to contact and taking out a bunker. They're showing us some of their tactics, and we're showing them some of our tactics.
Even though each nation is prepared and ready to show off their individual capabilities, they stress the learning process involved with working together.
We get to learn some of their battle drills and skills, and as well as they get to learn some of our stuff. So it's kind of interacting, and everyone's it's a learning process.
That learning process is vital in strengthening this partnership.
It makes it stronger. I mean, if they understand how we operate and we understand how they operate, then if something were to happen, we'd both be able to interact with each other without any like casualties like that.
But for the task at hand, how did the soldiers fare at showcasing their firepower?
I think we did awesome.
Just killing targets all day. That's it, killing targets.
And for the soldiers of the Warrior Brigade, the reception they've received from their host nation counterpart only furthers this partnership on and off the battlefield.
When we got here, I was really impressed with their professionalism. I believe that they're great hosts and they didn't treat us with any malice or anything like that. They also kept an open mind while we also did the same.
Reporting from the Republic of Korea, I'm Army Sergeant Chris Hammond.